Holy left cage, Batman! Hello there, Dark Knights, and welcome back to Hachette's Build the Batmobile, Tumbler, Build with the Boys. We have issue 43, where we're going to start assembling the cage. So the cage is what's going to build around the cockpit. Now it's weird because with normal part works, we build all this, and then we... so the Joker's gone mental outside my door. We build the frame, and then we bolt them together. I don't know what's happening with this one. I think from what we're doing so far, I think the cockpit's going to go and I'm going to build around it. That is what I think is going to happen. Might be wrong, but I think that's what's happening here. So we're attaching essentially roll cage to the left and right side of the next two issues. Now, we're doing the left cage first.
The closet won't open!
The closet won't open, bear with me. Sorted. So in this one we're building the cage. We're building the left side of the cage to begin with. In the next one we're doing the right side of the cage, but in the next one there's more. So the next one isn't just a repeat. There's a bit more to do than there is in this one. And from what I can see, again, there is a lot to do. For a part work, you'll need to calm down whether there's not loads to do. What part works have you been building? This is a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect wires 16. Is that it? Yeah, just 16. Wire number 16 is going to disconnect. We are going to insert the bulbs into the bulb places on the space on the side, and then we're going to screw the cage to it. And it's going to hold it in place. Cage is going to be good because it's going to give this very plastic cockpit stability, which is important. But this is looking solid now. This is going to give us something ultimately. We're about to bolt it to the chassis that we built in the last one. We're not doing that yet, but that can't be a million miles off. At the end of this one, we'll be talking about the Tumbler itself, how it was built, and how it ended up in Batman Begins. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get this one open. Let's get this one built. Okay, so let's take a look at what we get inside 42. It's a nice big old box. That's wrapped really badly. But there is our cage piece there. Solid, heavy, good, like that. And then a bunch of screws. So we've got EP screws that's going into plastic. Whatever this is. Curious. What is this? I reckon it's tape. Let's have a look. Is it tape? Yeah. Electrical tape. So that'll hold down our wires. So we've got our EP screws and we've got a frame. The next thing we need to do is we're going to bring the cockpit itself up, and we're going to start. No, I'm talking nonsense. We need to unplug number 16, I believe. So it's light number 16 needs to unplug, and we need to bring that up. And it is it's the side lights. Yeah, number 16. That's what we need to unplug. Okay, so we've got our cockpit. Let's just move this to the side for now. We've got a cage here. We do have to do a little bit of work on number 17. So what they're asking us to do is to bend the bulbs. Now, don't go mad. Use your tweezers. Should we do this once? Because what you don't want to do is snap your bulb. So we are going to bend the bulb at 90 degree. So I'm using my pressure pliers here. I'm going to bend that one just around like so. So there you go. Got 90 degree. Nice and simple. Do the exact same thing with this one over here. Lock in. Bend over the tweezer. There we go. Easy enough. So now you have them both at the 90 degree angles, because that's going to help when we're installing these into the side of the cockpit. So that is exactly what we're going to do now. So let's move this frame out of the way. Bring our cockpit over. Whoop. What am I stuck on? I'm stuck on something. Okay, so that's the bulb cover there. Right, so we're going to put the shorter of the two into here and the longer into here. So what I mean by that is this part here is going to slot into this one here on a 90 degree. So we want that to go straight through. There you go, easy enough. And then this one is going to fit into this one here. Again, easy enough. There we are. So those are in. Simple. Are we taping these yet? Yes, they want us to tape it underneath. So we're going to thread the cable underneath, and then they want us to tape it into place. So let's see. Let's turn this up and get that done. So as you can see here, there is a lip. So we're going to put this cable through the lip and drape it down. So that's where that's going to go. And we're going to hold this in place with a strip of the electrical tape. This reminds me of Routemaster. The Routemaster wiring was very similar to this. And it's kind of got that feel going to it. Let's pop that one over there. There we go. So that's done. Simple enough. Next thing we do is work on the cage. So we can turn this one back down. And we're going to be working on the cage itself. So let's get that ready. I'm going to be installing our cage along here. Okay, now this is the way around the cage. Is going to this lip here. It's going to be facing towards the front. Now you've got 3 pins. 1, 2, and 3, and they should fit into the pins on the edge of the cockpit. And we want to fold these in, and we want to make sure the wires are not pinched. There we are. So it's holding nicely. Oh, they're sent out another piece of electrical tape. Sorry, I completely missed that stage. Where are they sent to put that? Here. They want that. Okay. Let's get that done. So happy I caught that before I put the cage on, then had to take the cage back off. So that piece of tape is going to hold this wire in there like so. That wants to come out, but that's okay. The cage is going to hold that in place in a minute. Mine's really loose. I don't know why my bulb cover here is really loose, but as I said, that cage is going to pin that. That ain't going to be going anywhere. Okay, so that's that wire in. Put the cage in. I'm going to get the EP screws ready, and then we're going to screw this in. Don't need 3-in-1 oil because it's going into plastic. Okay, so that's our cage in. Now we're going to hold this in place with 4 screws. Starting here, this is the EP screws. One screwdriver. Let's get a better one. Here we go. So that's that one in. Screw number 2, we are going just here on this beam here. Screw number 3, we're moving down to this beam here. There's one in there. So that's that one, and then one last one is going to go just this side of the light fitting. So it's going to go in here. I'll tell you what, black on black with black screws is not the easiest thing to see with ancient eyes like mine, but, well, you know, as is Batman, everything's going to be dark. And that is that one done. So that cage is in. That is feeling solid. That's nice. I like that. That really is going to give this some support. Fantastic. So just to get an idea of what we've done, that's what we've done. So we can light up the side panels now. Lovely stuff. Brilliant. We're going to be working on this side in the next one, but we're also going to be working on the dashboard as well. So tune in for that one. Let's have a chat. So that's that one done, and it feels nice to finally be working on car. So we're working on the chassis, working on the frame. Feels good, right? We're getting somewhere now. We're not just plugging wires in. We're actually building up. Now, again, with this one, this is so weird. I've never had to keep going through this, but with there's not much to do, and there's not much. There is, right? And you might feel like we've not done a lot. At the end of these, I'm going to put everything together. right? So I'm going to loosely fit everything together, and you'll see exactly how much we've built. And it's a lot, right? And you're actually fairly hefty at this point. You might not think it, but you are. And this is all going to start to come together. I don't know what the magic issue is going to be, but at some point we're going to have a magic issue where this gets bolted to that and that gets bolted to that, and then all of a sudden you're like, Jesus, you're going to have this great big chunk of Batmobile tank. It's going to happen. Thank you for stopping by. If you just stopped by for the build instructions, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps the channel massively, and we just love having you along for the journey. We can't fight all the criminals of Gotham on our own. We need you. If you stick around for our Bat Chat, we're talking about this or this. The Tumbler. So again, Christopher Nolan decided that he wanted a unique Batmobile, unlike any other Batmobile that had been seen before. He wanted it to be practical. So it's a tank, is what it is. It's an urban tank. That's the whole point of it. Now, in the past, they've gone for these... There was the criticism of the Tumbler was it wasn't very stealthy. Neither were any of the Batmobiles. Come on, for Christ's sake, right? Not a single Batmobile to this date has been stealthy. You couldn't call any Batmobile stealthy. You just couldn't, right? So the 66 Batmobile, definitely not stealthy, right? Honestly, not stealthy. The 89 Batmobile, stealth-ish, right? It's certainly dark, but I mean, the length of the hood of that one, like, come on. It's coming around the corner 10 minutes before you are. So beautiful, but not stealthy. And then they just went neon mental. So the one in Batman Forever is absolutely just decked out in neon lights with that enormous fin. And then the Batman and Robin one, you can see it from space as that lit up. So I don't think it's not stealthy enough is a good excuse. However, if you're going to have something rooted in reality, you can only really go one of two places with this. You either take a muscle car or a sports car and you know, tart it up a bit, or you go, right, okay, he's a warrior. It's a tank, is what it is. And that is what it is. It's an urban tank. But this vehicle didn't exist. So it's not they've taken something and modified it. This vehicle did not exist. And the Tumbler, believe it or not, is the first Batmobile in the history of Batmobiles to be a unique, designed from scratch, working vehicle. Everything else up to this point had been something else that they bolted chassis to. So they took the engine or the guts of something else and bolted a frame to it, or they'd slightly modified it, or some of them didn't even work. They were electrical vehicles that were good for, you know, about a mile. But the Tumbler is a legitimate vehicle. It is a fully working vehicle, and it was designed specifically for Batman. And Christopher Nolan walked in with a lump of clay. It was like a lump of Play-Doh, and made the kind of the bizarre C shape this vehicle is. That's what I want. I want that. And let the production team do their thing. And Tumbler is what they came up with. It has got a very unique steering mechanism. And this is the thing. I think if you were to design this as a military thing, you certainly wouldn't have those wheels the way they are, because the wheels are so exposed that that's how you take the Tumbler out. The wheels are just massively exposed. I appreciate they're really thick, but that front section is not going to take a lot of abuse. It just isn't. In the real world. In the Batman world, of course it is, but it's not going to take a lot of abuse. And ultimately you'd be trying to get something in the middle of that and just blow the front off it. That's what you do. You just bust the front wide open. The Tumbler has incredible scenes in Batman Begins where it's jumping over the rooftops and they're using the jet engines, and you get to see him move down into the nose, and it's incredible. So the interior of the Tumbler gets a lot more screen time than any other Batmobile interior got up to that point. And it's a hell of a vehicle. I mean, it really is. As I said, the scene of driving over the rooftops, the scene where he's just crushing over the police cars is incredible. But that's it for it. So the Tumbler only really makes an appearance in Batman Begins is very, very, very briefly in Dark Knight Rises. Or The Dark Knight, sorry. It's very briefly in The Dark Knight where it gets destroyed ultimately, where the Batpod comes out of it. But it has a criminal amount of screen time. It doesn't have anywhere near enough screen time as it should have. But that is true of some of the most iconic movie cars there are. They don't really have a lot of screen time. And this one doesn't. This one really doesn't. The Tumbler doesn't. But it made such a massive impact in the small amount of time that it's got that people love it. And it's a very unique Batmobile. They haven't just taken another Batmobile and I mean, if you see the Forever and the Batman and Robin Batmobile, they're very similar. One's got a massive fin, one hasn't. But this one is so unique that it just stands out, and it's really captured people. I do have the terrible Tumbler that came as a free gift from Hachette, as we can see there. It's a bizarre looking vehicle. When you look at it top down, it's a very strange looking vehicle, but ultimately that's what it is. This is a tank. It's got these 4 massive wheels at the back we've got to put on yet. We've got the jet booster. Now, canon to the films. So in reality, this thing was being run by a V8, a twin V8. In the actual the world of where the films are set, this thing has a jet engine inside of it. So the reason why it's able to jump over buildings is it's powered by a jet engine. I don't know what they're giving us. So I don't know if they are putting a V8 and this is based on the actual filming vehicle, or if they're sticking canon to the film and what we're actually getting is a jet engine. I reckon we're getting jet engine. I hope we're getting jet engine, because I don't want a V8 in here. I do want what it was supposed to be in that world. So I hope we get a jet engine. If we do get a jet engine, there's not going to be a lot of engine work to do, because the reality of it is we're not going to build all the inner components of a jet engine. And the jet engine doesn't really look like much. It looks like a tube is what a jet engine looks like. Whereas a V8 engine, we'd have a lot of work to do on one of those, believe me. So it's going to be interesting. We'll find out soon enough, because we are getting, I think, in 47, I think we start getting engine casing. It might be 50. I'm not sure, but I think it is 50. We start getting engine casing, and we are working on the back of the vehicle and the jets. We'll soon know. But it's a hell of a vehicle. It really is, and it does make appearance again naturally in Dark Knight Rises, where they have the original Bane. Colorway is what it's called now. It's not. It was the original one. So originally it had the kind of the desert camo on it. But yeah, it is the first one, and it had an MOT. They had to tax it. They could drive it. It existed. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. There is only one of them, right? So as much as you will hear, oh, there's a prince in Dubai that has one. He's got a version of one. He hasn't got the one. There is only one. But it's a hell of a thing. And I can't wait to see this, because again, when you're building this, I have loosely put these parts together and realised just how big this is going to be. And it's going to be bloody big, because the back is bigger than the front. As you can see, the back's bigger than the front. So we are going to start to do that. So this is going to be enormous, because having seen what I've put together and looked at, this is going to be an absolute beast. And this is going to be a heavy, heavy vehicle. I am still curious of how that little motor, that little gear is going to turn those wheels. But we do have the mystery disc that I think is going to play a part in that. But we'll see. That is all for this one. In the next one, we'll be talking about the actual film itself, the release of the film, what it did, what it didn't do, and what was next for Batman. So tune in for that one. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. If you have any questions, queries, anything you need to know, any help you need, anything you want to show us, you can send it to buildingtheboys@outlook.com. We love hearing from you. So please feel free to do that. If you haven't yet, remember to like and subscribe. It helps us massively. We really appreciate you being along for the journey. We'll be back very, very soon with the right cage. And we'll also be working on the dashboard. We're using that piece that we got a long time ago, finally, and working on the dashboard. I will see you then. Remember, until next time, Gotham needs us.